AITA for the email I sent to a teacher about her "you have to include everyone" rules, saying that was a dangerous lesson. My daughter is 12, I'm trying to teach her ways of creating and respecting her boundaries that are age appropriate. Teaching her that it's okay to say no to things she feels uncomfortable with. There is a boy in her class who keeps bothering her and her female friends at recess. I've encouraged her to go to me or her teacher when this happens. My daughter told me a few days ago that in class, the teacher had asked the kids to form groups of about 4 or 5. She had formed a group of 5 with some other girls, then the boy who had been giving her trouble at recess came over and said he was joining their group. Another girl said that they already have 5, and he should work with a group who only have 2 or 3 people. He said no because the teacher had said about 4 or 5. My daughter then said that they didn't want to work with him, and he should find another group. A few of the other girls agreed with her. He said that "you can't exclude me like that, it's against class rules," and she said she didn't care. I heard about this from my daughter first, and the way she talked about it, she had been firm but not unkind. But then I got an email from her teacher saying she wanted to call. She said there had been an incident at school where my daughter had excluded another child, and that wasn't allowed in her class, and she wanted me to have a talk with her about it. Her telling of events was the same as my daughter's. I felt proud of my daughter for her honesty. I sent her an email saying, "Dear Mrs. Teacher, I'm sorry, but that is not a lesson I feel comfortable teaching my daughter. She's at the age where she is already having to deal with unwanted attention, and I'm making a point to teach her that she does not have to be around anyone who makes her uncomfortable. And that a young lady is able to choose to spend time with people who make her feel respected. I understand you already are aware, boy has been behaving in ways that she feels uncomfortable with at recess, from our prior conversations. I think it is a very dangerous lesson to teach a girl she has to include and be kind to everyone, instead of teaching her to be aware of when someone is not respecting her no and stepping out of the situation. I hope I don't have to explain in too much detail why I find this important. But to put it briefly, I was brought up with the include everyone mindset. No exceptions. It taught me to ignore my own comfort level, and as I became a young adult I became the victim of men who used my inability to say no to their advantage. It's a dangerous lesson, and no longer appropriate at that age. Thank you. OP. She emailed me back asking for a meeting in person with the principal. I'm preparing for that but wondering if my email was too harsh. AITA for my response to my daughter's teacher? Edit to update. I reached out to the parents of the other 4 girls in the class who were involved, and we all coordinated to go speak to the school administration together. They had similar views, thinking it was inappropriate for the school to expect the girls work with someone who they're not comfortable with, and frustrated the teacher didn't do more to deal with the issues during recess that made the girls uncomfortable to start with. I ended up asking the school if we could reschedule the meeting to a time all the involved families could make, and we ended up meeting this afternoon along with my husband, another couple, 2 mothers, and a father. Along with the teacher and principal. We all presented a united front asking for the following. The school does training for the teachers on trauma-informed teaching methods and the dangers of expecting young women to go against their best judgment of their own boundaries to be nice. Instead of include everyone, the kids should be allowed to respectfully set boundaries and taught to respect each other's boundaries. The school addresses harassment in class or at recess and doesn't enable it to continue. We went to talk, and I think it went a lot better having all the parents join instead of if I'd gone alone. The teacher and principal apologized and the principal agreed to look for resources on how to better navigate the balance between being inclusive and not forcing kids into including someone who is crossing a line with them. Thanks a lot for all the amazing advice in the comments. I cannot believe how much this blew up and I'm so grateful to everyone who replied with advice and support. And honestly was getting pretty emotional hearing how the lessons I'm trying to teach my little one resonated with other women, whether they're moms too, or have been through some of the same struggles I have. Here are the top comments, let's hear it from our folks. First is from Lizababy. You could point out that the boy didn't need to join their group as there were other incomplete groups. He wanted to join that one that was already complete for the sole reason that your daughter was in the group. Ask them when and, more importantly, why is want to be near your daughter superseded your daughter's need to feel safe from his unwanted advances and harassment. Edit. Thank you for the awards. NTA. Another from LWDK2, Op. Please use this line of reasoning with the teacher and administrator. All children should be allowed to set boundaries from unwanted attention. And next one is from Strapo, NTA. I am fed up to the back teeth with men and boys getting away with nonsense like this. In fact, I think you were careful to be polite in your letter and could have gone further. Especially so in this case, as it seems you have pointed out problems with this boy in the past. So it's not something the teacher is unaware of. Prepare yourself for the meeting. Have a list of exactly all the incidents of harassment, for that is what it is, that your daughter has experienced. Be specific. Say that you've mentioned it to the teacher before, and state what actions were taken. It sounds like nothing. See if you can look up some facts about the rise in harassment of girls at school. Say this boy was harassing her, and her friends, and that she has the right to not work with someone she feels uncomfortable with. Ask them what they plan to do about the boy's actions. If it's not sufficient, tell them you'll go higher, to the principal's boss and the school board. Say if the school will not be responsible for ensuring the safety of its pupils, you will consider legal actions. Stand up to them. Don't let the bullies win. Next one from whole collection 6454. Yes, this is the way. Don't frame it as this is not a lesson I feel comfortable with. Frame it as my daughter has the right to refuse to associate with her harasser, and I'm surprised you haven't done something to curb his behavior. What are you going to do to curb his behavior? Spike that ball into their court. And this one is from Candy Forever, NTA. You're protecting your daughter. For too long, girls plus women were taught not to make waves plus to put up with bad behavior. Does #MeToo ring any bells? Your daughter has the right to stand up for herself plus not be made to put up with people who make her uncomfortable, hurt her, etc. If teacher knows what boy is doing plus is doing nothing to stop him, I'd report teacher and possibly boy. And lastly is from Any Confusion 4526, NTA, and you should ask them why are they more concerned about your daughter saying no than being concerned that the boy is constantly harassing your daughter and friends. And that's all for today's story. See you again next time, folks.